Welcome back. Freaky Friday edition of Cork Stats, powered by the Mayo MediaNet here on YouTube and presented by Jock MKT. Download the daily fantasy app for free. Use the promo code MMN. And they're going to match that first $100 for free. If it's free, it's for me. In case you're new, well, welcome aboard. First off, I've taken that free promo and I've worked it up to several $1,000s. It's up like 15,000%. And this is coming off a pretty bad slide. I got beat up by some weather. Enough of that. More of this. It's the fastest show with MLB absolutely anywhere. You take that bad boy to the bank with my signature on it. With the 3 pillars of profit, daily DFS, Jock MKT over to fantasy. Today's the waiver show. And then some bets. I got another big-time home run parlay. I love those, man. What better, fun way to gamble on baseball than looking for those bing bongs. It's your host, the big dude with the big mouth from the Big Apple, Big Johnny Stud. We're coming to you worldwide from Brooklyn, New York, as always, baby. You know what? I probably talk too much. I've been trying to fit more and more info into the show while I simultaneously try and rant more. Well, rather than talk even faster than I normally do, let's just get right into it. But first, please rate, review, and subscribe to the audio-only pod. That stuff matters so much. Like, you can't believe what a 5-star rating means. So stupid. And then press the like button. Talk about stupid. He give me a cartoon thumb. My God, this stuff matters so much more than it should. No one asks you how good you are, how smart you are, how hard you work. They just want to know how many cartoon fingers you have. Well, mine cartoonish fingers, I got 10 so far. Forget that. Come on, man. Let's do it. It's running it back with the 8-5 stack attack, brought to you by Jock MKT. First up on the board, it's the New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers, the Pinstripers. You know, I love the Highlanders, and even as a pessimistic Yankee fan, this team is pretty darn good. Going up against Dakota, Fanning Hudson for the Redbirds from St. Louis, 4.10 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, 7.15 OPS. Generally not something we go after, but of course, you come here for the nuance and the context with popping the hood. XFIP, Sierra, and classified run average all north of 4.9. 13% K is too low. 10% walk is extremely too high, especially with a 3% K minus walk. He doesn't get ahead. He doesn't induce chases. He's got to work on his own way too often. 93% contact rate. That is extremely high, and this is not the team you want to do that against. He does keep the ball down 52% of the time. Again, never looking to misframe arguments, but the hard hit rate through the roof at 45, and that's led to the 375 expected WOBA on the year. So, not everybody gets beat up because of home runs. Check it out. It's been a tale of 2 seasons. Something else that we've picked up on. The weather is picking up. We've had that kind of distinct, I don't want to say change in the ball, but the change in how the ball has reacted with the humidor, right? So that's kind of the long way of saying it. But we do have to kind of look at splits as we're in this part of the season. Sometimes it's being tired. Sometimes it's guys hiding an injury. Sometimes these things materialize in velo drops or pitch mix changes, and we see these kind of distinct splits. Dakota Hudson, first 11 times out, 2.76 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. Excellent. Last 8 times out, 5.9 ERA, 1.6 WHIP. 0.5% K minus walk. That ain't gonna do it right. He's getting it done on the year against Dakota. 293 BA, 343 WOBA. It's the sinker at the center of the issue here. 43% use. That's extremely too high, almost for any pitch. I'm getting to the point where, unless it's some wipeout crazy slider, there's no reason to be throwing that kind of pitch 43% of the time. It has a nearly 500 X slug with a single-digit whiff rate, a 335 expected BA on the year. The Yankees are doing it, man. My boy, the machine, DJ LeMahieu, last 97 plate appearances against righties. That ain't nothing. 86 contact, 46 hard hit, 358 batting average, 136 ISO, 958 OPS. ISO a bit low, but he's leading off. They're on the road, and we're expecting him to score some runs, so I wouldn't get too hooked up with disqualifying him from the total base play. And the 5 extra base hits in that span with a 4.19 expected WOBA. All the things you're looking for, LeMahieu kind of bounced back this year. I think it was a health thing last year. I was never huge on him for fantasy. I don't think he's a power hitter. I don't think he's a base stealer. But I do think he's a awesome hitter, an on-base machine, and the perfect piece for that Yankee lineup. Then let's get to it. It's your honor, his honor. Aaron Judge, last 91 plate appearances against righties. All the good stats. 65 hard hit, 31 barrel, 25 blast. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. 320, 480, 1246 on the triple slash. Remember, the middle one is ISO if we're looking for extra base hits, total bases, I should say. ISO being a extra base hit rate, right? So if you hear a triple slash here, it's not average OBP and slug. We go average, ISO, OPS to kind of cover the entire field, because all of these plays are DFS viable. All of these plays are jock market viable, depending on the price. That way, you see that in the corner there, 555 share max. I have found that has really been the path to profit in jock market. They got a little bit sharper. They've been splitting slates, which has raised the average cost, which means we have to lower our price paid because it's harder to get there. So that explained a little bit of the dip in profit as expected. Again, when they started splitting, we were doing so well because of the big slates on jock market, but I wouldn't be too discouraged, because if you take any model hit and play against the price, we're doing excellent. I've seen those green screens. All right, Aaron Judge is awesome. 11 home runs in those 91 plate appearances against righties. So good, man. And then Anthony Rizzo. Now, remember a bit more of the context and the nuance that you come to. We're not always just looking for last 7, last 30. It's not always the case. Sometimes we're trying to identify underpinnings. I mentioned Dakota Hudson with the hyper usage on the sinker. Rizzo doing the thing against right-handed sinkers on the year, right? So you see the kind of cross matrix. 31% barrel, 588 ISO, 405 expected WOBA, 3 home runs against right-handed sinkers. Look for Rizzo to get it done today. Second stack, it's the Rockies against Bumgarner and those snakes with shapes on their back. Sorry, a little stumble there from the big dude. Bumgarner. This is funny. These are the guys I love to go up against, because it gets reflected in the market price. Again, remember, not everyone is sharp like we are. Some people still use ERA. Imagine that. 3.83 ERA, 1.36 whip, 7.68 OPS. That ERA sticks out like a sore thumb. One of these things is not like the other. XFIP, Sierra, both north of 4 3/4, 16% K to 7% walk. Really just so meh. He doesn't induce chases. The in-zone contact rate too high. Generally, the running theme of what we're looking for going after pitches, right? We don't want them getting swinging misses. We don't want them winning in the zone. And then when you get a hold of it, 42 fly ball, 43 hard hit rate is equals what? 1.2 home runs per 9. There's the answer pretty much for this entire whacked out equation, right? He has probably had a bunch of barrels that haven't gone out that should have, and the home run rate should be up near 1.6, which means that ERA at 3.3 should be closer to the Sierra, and XFIP at 4.8. I think that's your reason right there. Plus 360 expected WOBA, again, against Bumgarner. He's going to hit very hard. He's given up at least 4 earned runs in 6 of the last 14, and the center of it is the cutter and the fastball. 65 use, so this is combined. These are 2 pitches. We can think of it as the fastball bin. Fastball, 4-seamer, and cutter. 65 use, 525 X-lug, 16% whiff, 32 extra base hits allowed, man. He's force-feeding righties, these 2 pitchers. So give me Brandon Rogers against lefties on the year. 53 hard hit, 333 batting average, 200 ISO, 908 OPS with 13 extra base hits. And then Randall Grichuk, last 30 days, 43 plate appearances against lefties, 54 hard hit, 286, 262, 850, 7 extra base hits. So we're going to love those guys. They'll be in the middle of the order. And then I also had CJ Cron circled. He's not up on the list because it was a little hard to justify it. Other than this, here's my note. He has 7 home runs against lefties year to date. He doesn't really hit the fastball well. He doesn't really hit the sinker well, so I couldn't really push it. But if a guy like him, because, people see that stinky OPS if he ends up really cheap in jock market, I think he's a viable play as well. And then last up, let's get it. It's the Pale Hose from the south side of Chi-Town, wrong side of the tracks. Give me Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, and Jose Abreu. They're going up against my dude Glenn Otto for the Rangers. 5.50 ERA, 1.46 whip, 7.69 OPS, but the FIP, XFIP, Sierra, and classified run average all above 5, 18% K too low, a 12% walk rate. That's really going to get you on that midnight train to Tuscaloosa. 51 first strike, 27 O swing, 88 Z-con. If you notice, those are really some of the disciplinary metrics I like to focus on, and again, they make sense. We want to know if a pitcher gets ahead or behind. If he's behind, you really need to induce chases if you don't want to work in the zone. So if you don't have a high first strike rate and you have a low chase rate, we can then look to the contact rate if it's high. And then if that contact rate is high, then you go to the quality of contact. Again, a hat tip to my dude, Pat Mayo, giving me the ability to bring you all of these ridiculous tools. The compliments that we get off air are just really flattering, and I thank you very much. If you're unfamiliar, you follow me on Twitter at MLB Moving AVG on the Bird app, yo. And on Patreon, also at MLB Moving Averages, but you don't have to pay for Squadouche. It's just a really good place to put all of it if you don't want any of the other banter and stuff on Twitter and you just want the business. Then no worries. You hop on Patreon, again, all free. Check it all out. All the tools, implied team totals, starting pitcher ranks, the starting pitcher sheet, which is what I was alluding to, advanced stats, matchup view, split, lefty-righty, home away, last 30 days. I mean, it's everything you could want, and of course, everything binned in these statistical baskets that I like to use. I compartmentalize these things on purpose because, again, I think though they are numbers, it reads like a story, part of why I think people gravitate to my work. You know what I mean? It's certainly not because I am handsome. We know that much to be true. All right, let's get back up into Otto. So again, right, walk you through how the disciplinary metrics work with each other. Left you off with the high in-zone contact rate, 45 ground ball. So he does keep it low. However, double-digit barrel, 7-digit blast, those are both really poor, right? So he's not going to be, you're not going to be looking for tons of home runs, maybe necessarily, I should say, because he does keep it down. But then we have to kind of click that optometrist glasses, right? Camera 1, camera 2, zoom on a little bit more. He's gotten cracked up at home. Not sure what's going on. Again, that could be a ball slip issue. We've heard pitchers complain about that. Remember, each stadium is handling the ball differently, which means each stadium's ball could be labeled with a different letter, right? And binned differently. And if he struggles with the handle of ball T, the Texas home ball, that could be a reason for it, so keep that in mind. 7.40 ERA, 1.7 whip for Otto on the year. Righties killing him, 3.15 BA, 3.99 WOBA, 15% home run to fly balls. Keep that in mind. They're not lifting it a ton, but when it gets lifted, it's going out. 25 earned runs in his last 32 innings pitched. Give me Robert, Jimenez, and Abreu. Like I mentioned, last 30 days for Robert against righties, 42 hard hit, 300, 367, 1030. Jose Abreu, last 40 plate appearance against righty, 56 hard hit, 10 barrel, 351, 325, 1076. I mean, popping off the page. Whenever you get a plus 300 ISO, you really should be thinking about total base props. Spoiler alert, he didn't make it, but you should be playing him. He'll probably make the sheet later on. 6 extra base hits in that span, 440 ex-WOBA. That's Jose Abreu. Now let's wrap it up with Eloy Jimenez. Last 30 days versus righties. He is killing it, man. 353 average, 275 ISO, 1009 OPS, 60 hard hit, right? This 95 miles an hour out. That's phenomenal. 30% barrel rate, 470 ex-WOBA for Eloy Jimenez. Expect his name to come up again a little bit later. So there's your stack attack, a bit of the granular analysis, doing the thing that we do, me and you, the Cork Stats crew. Take this second to rate, review, and subscribe to the audio-only pod, please. Hit the like button, comment on Twitter. We see you guys every single day. The people that support us, thank you very much. Dane and Baines and Tug and Walrus and Kevin. I really do see you out there. I wish I could thank you every single day. And of course, my boy, the male body. I mean, I have a spirit animal. I do find you guys out there in the wild, man. Don't be afraid to get at me. I sometimes wish people would tag me more in public. I actually spend time speaking one-on-one to people, and it's information that we should be sharing. So please, feel free to tag me publicly on Twitter. While you're there, tag Patty Mayo and thank him for really what he's done. Yeah, I'm kind of banging the drum and everything. But in reality, without him, there's no me allowing me to bring this to you. And we're really trying to bring you everything that you'd get from a premium site, like a straight up, that you're paying $300, $400, $500 a month. Some guys getting $100, $200, $300 a month for just the tools that I provide. I've gotten paid for private consultations and stuff. I mean, and now we're just doing it all for free. And again, these things don't last forever if you're not interacting. So I got to beg you one more time for the cartoon figure. Let's do the fantasy thing for the audio-only listeners. I got this snazzy graphic up. You'll see 3 players at every offensive position. Those are 10, 12, and 15 team ads, respectively. The thing here is really just playing time, guys that maybe have swung the bat well, but it's really all about opportunity. Let's just blow through it. Again, I have made sure to check that these guys are playing, and pretty much that's about it. That's all you could really ask for. I try and circle back to this on Sunday, because that's how volatile it is. We might circle a guy that's playing, but if he sits the next couple days, we don't want to pick him up on Sunday. So here we go. Behind the dish, Sean Murphy, Carson Kelly, and Nick Fortes. Murphy and Kelly playing their way into single-team viability. Fortes stealing bags in 15-team leagues. I'm not sure. I've been mentioning to some really sharp people. He kind of got some, negative response. I see a guy who's been playing like a C1 since he's in there, and we know the Marlins like to run. Hey, man, give me all the Fortes. If you're going to get, 50 to 60% of the plate appearances and not be terrible, hit for a little bit of average. He's got homers and steals. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if you see one on the way out. I've had a knack for picking up these kind of trashy players, right? It was Bethancourt before, and now it's Fortes. Gimme Nicky F. All right, over to first base, Jose Miranda has really played himself into viability, followed by Bobby Dalbec. Yuck, gross. But such is life. He's playing. I know he's in the 12-team spot, but it is really difficult right now. That's why, again, when we name these guys, sometimes there's like a wealth of them. And if you can upgrade even a little bit, you should do that. Like I have teams where I replace 4 or 5 guys in a week. I don't care. If they're not a stalwart, goodbye, see you later, sayonara. So Bobby Dalbec, hope you have something better than him at 12s, not trying to push for his viability. Then Lewin Diaz on Miami, he's not been good. I actually put Miz. It doesn't matter. They're awful. Doesn't matter. Lewin Diaz has not been very good, but he is up and playing every day. Miami has a ton of injuries. Over to second base, Wansagura is back, so make sure he's added. Remember, guys get hurt and they get forgotten sometimes. So when they come back, if you can grab them, do that. Aledmus Diaz is like the batting cleanup for the Astros, man. After Bregman and Jordan, that offense a little kind of sloppy, but Aledmus Diaz getting the reps, he's getting the ops, his crazy eligibility, and he's hitting, so he could do worse. Bryson Stott playing every day for Philadelphia. We've been on him. I kind of rotate him in and out depending on matchups. Over to shortstop, Luis Rengifo, a guy who, again, gold star on RNOs. You notice some of these hitters have started at the bottom row and have made their way up. Those are guys that are on all of my teams. They really are. If Jose Miranda on every team, we were banging your drum weeks and weeks ago. Same thing for Rengifo, weeks ago, and now these guys are viable and they're on every team. I'm telling you, my fantasy teams are just doing excellent. I probably have the best team in like every league I'm in if you were to go after the first like 6 or 7 weeks. Like once I said, okay, now it's time to start getting into active drive. Hey man, being active is what fantasy baseball is all about. There's still plenty of time to win this thing. Rengifo, Aledmus Diaz, Bryson Stott, again, a lot of familiar names, but Diaz and Stott have the eligibility, another reason making them a little more attractive. Over to third base, Miranda, again, in 10-team leagues is viable across the board. Over to third base, it is uglier at third than it is at first. I have Dalbec on the list. I just couldn't stomach him again, so I put Miguel Vargas for the Dodgers. I guess with Turner out, he's going to get some reps. We know he's got some potential. I'd rather his potential than Dalbec. I know I got to be careful pumping Dalbec. I've a reputation for liking him, and he has stuff that I've liked, that I've validated, that we haven't seen because of the opportunities, but is he going to get it? I don't know. I don't want to have take lock. That's not my style. I'd rather the upside of Vargas. Let's not get it twisted. Into the outfield we go. Mitch Haniger on that outfield list. He's set to come back. Make sure he's added in every league. He could carry you as far as power. Jared Kelnick playing every day. David Peralta move over to the Rays. He's actually playing in his split, so you got to like that. If he's going to play against both-handed hitters, to Lars Nootbaar with the Cardinals, that might be more of a short-term thing. I know my guy Eno at The Athletic is into Nootbaar. I worry with O'Neill back and Yepez coming back what that might look like as far as playing time. But while he's going, he's doing it and looking good. Over to the other side, J.J. Bleday, Jake McCarthy, Jose Siri, Yadier Hernandez. These are probably the deeper league ads. Bleday on the top, and he probably should be on the bottom. I think McCarthy is the guy you want with Arizona. He was our main ad in 15-team leagues a couple weeks ago. Yadier Hernandez is on all my drafted whole teams. He's looking good. And Washington sold off, and he's playing every day. And then Siri on Tampa as well has played the last 3 games in a row. I spoke to Eric Smolsky. I was on his podcast. Check him out at Samsky, I think, but just check me out on Twitter. I retweeted it the other day. He's super sharp with Rotoball at AM New York. Super sharp dude was mentioning Syria and the comp to Rainy Rosarena. So then let's get into the pitching end. It's a lot of guys we've mentioned before. It's very tough right now. Carter Crawford, Domingo Germán, Braxton Garrett, Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez in particular, Eric mentioned him at all, has looked excellent as of late. He might be a guy you could try and trade for. People might think they're getting out of the spike. We picked up on a pitch mix change that may carry him. So I do like Suarez rest of season. And then there's a couple of relievers out there, right? Felix Bautista is top-end RP1 style. So if you can get him or trade for him, do that. Devin Williams on Milwaukee Brewers, again, SP or RP1 potential there. And Danny Jimenez, who does not have RP1 potential. But if you're in a 15-team league, I believe he will be the closer for Oakland. He's back. He got a hole. I think the second he looks okay, he's going to reassume that job. He was the guy there for a bit. So there we go. Trying to be all things to all people. That's your Mayo Media Fantasy Baseball 10, 12, and 15-team waiver ads for this week. Okay, let's do some bets. Most of this stuff is already accounted for. So let's just start at the top, and then we'll skip to the correlated total base prop if you're looking here. We got the White Sox. Give me that cover at even money. I was a bit surprised to see this as an even money cover. We've mentioned Glenn Otto and the struggles he's had, particularly at home. We've mentioned the White Sox, how they're hot and hitting right-handed pitching right now, in particular, that Otto's going to be forcing at them. They've got Dylan Cease going. He's been phenomenal. 2.01 ERA, 117 whip. Earned run indicators agree. 33% K. Now, the walk rate is a touch high, but again, when you could win in the zone with a 78% contact rate and keep your hard hit rate down below 31 when they actually do get to stick on it, 268 ex-wobble on the year. I mean, he's so good. So you can see with this one, could get away from Texas early, in particular if we get that early kind of ding-dong. So give me Chicago to cover up Texas. I think we get this one easy. I also think this one's about 30 cents short of where it's going to finish. Expect this one to close at minus 130. That will be on the back of Eloy Jimenez with the plus money over 1.5 total bases. Though I do know I have been preaching against double betting. So maybe the answer to double betting is triple betting, right? Let's not double down. Let's triple down. I'm only half kidding. That's half tongue in cheek. What I'm getting at is total base props can be a little bit hairy. So rather than increase the risk, sometimes I like to actually decrease the risk and split the plays. I think Jose Abreu is also at plus money. So, like, let's say at the bottom you see I have bet 0.10 units to win, whatever that X unit is. Maybe the best idea is to split it. Split Eloy and Abreu and hope for 2. And I know people don't like to hear that, but that's a pathway to profit, right? If Eloy and Abreu are both going off at plus 110, you split your risk and run them both, and you get one of them, you make a 10% risk. And if you're on Wall Street, that's considered phenomenal. And if you're a bettor, you're considered a loser. And that's probably part of the why most bettors fail, because of their expectations are completely out of whack. So it would give me Chicago White Sox to cover up the Rangers minus 1.5 plus 100. Eloy Jimenez over 1.5 total bases at plus 110. You know I love the plus money bets, because then we get to keep our win-loss percentage nice and low. Not something that you generally hear the handicappers brag about, but again, I'm your favorite handicapper's favorite handicapper for a reason. Don't forget that. All right, next up, and the third bet is the Yankees. Again, this one goes back to my model screaming. We've done excellent, but I do often talk about how I don't like when people quote the model as the reason, right? So, again, if you developed a model that you believe in, that the market buys into, like similar to mine, like we expect you to quote it up to a certain point, but I never ever want to be like, you should bet the Yankees and the Cardinals over 4 because my model said so. Like, that's a little ridiculous. What if I woke up and was guessing? Like, what if I was fake? Like, and I just don't like. That's why I always kind of, I keep the screws loose. That was something I always said. Like on the algo, I keep the screws loose. I want you to, if you don't want to, you could keep the machine closed. People don't like to see wires. But if you want, you don't need a tool to get into my thing. You just, boop, boop, boop. You can tell I'm an electrician in my other life, right? Just open up those 2 loose screws, you pop the hood off, you could check it out for yourself. We have absolutely nothing to hide. I like to think of my work being on the blockchain. It's open source. That's why I share all the tools with all the decimal points. You could do it yourself if you like. You could fade me if you like, but that's part of why I show you how these things are probabilistically valid. And again, that's why winning and losing means very little to me, because I don't bet enough to have it concern me. So here we go. And I don't mean my total, I mean my percentage risk. In my days, man, I have bet more. That will make most people's hair turn white. But you know what? I felt like I was unfortunate to have to bet at such a level that I had to do to keep the lights on. It's not something that I think you want to do. I think betting at a high level could be part of a successful portfolio. But again, you want to have small businesses and guaranteed income coming in. Remember, this is not guaranteed, and I would never make it as such. So I do think we always have an edge on the market, and over time, we're going to make money. All right, so give me the Yankees and the Cardinals, F5 over 4. The model was just absolutely humming on this one. I think the Yankees could get 4 on Hudson themselves, but also Cortez has just been okay, and St. Louis can hit. So let's, again, you have to look at these things realistically. The betting public oftentimes thinks like, no one's going to score ever, and that's just not the case. The Cardinals are a perfectly cromulent bet for 2 runs against Nestor Cortez. Make no mistake, I like Nestor Cortez. He's fallen off a touch, though. I mean, not that we could have expected him to be as good as we thought, but he gives up a ton of fly balls. He allows a ton of foul balls. So what's that mean? he can be inefficient. And if the wind's blowing in the right direction, ends up with a home run or two, and that's all you need to get us to the 4. I just think we go way over it again. Yankees offense should feast on Hudson. I'm not buying it. I don't even expect the line to move on this. I don't expect the juice to move, the price to move. I expect the line to move. So you heard it here again. Are we not always 30 cents in front of everything? It's ridiculous. I'm a CLV machine. I'm waiting for, Steve Wynn to holler at me. I could clean up your lines, people. Be MGM, DK, if you want. I could clean those lines for you. And I could really clean them the night before the stuff even comes out. I'll probably save you a ridiculous amount of money for what I'm on to do it for, because I just love this so much. And again, I'm working my way towards financial independence if I'm not already there. All right, let's get into the new thing. I got to try to hustle up a touch and leave a minute at the back end, because I loved that play so much. And yes, now we're doing a MLB moving averages home run tracker, big bong parlay. We're going to just blow through it really, really fast. Gosh, I love these home run calls. I used to love the home run tracker. It was one of the most popular things when I worked at FTN. People just could not get enough of it. We love the odds. We love to parlay them. I think, yes, this is a 71-76 parlay. I think these are a little more viable as a round robin. You could check that out on Twitter or my Patreon page. I lay it out to the decimal point. Again, I never just throw things at you. I'm playing these. I'm playing them smart. And even a 71-1 shot has a piece in a portfolio if the risk is properly regimented. And again, this should never, ever be more than probably a 20th of a unit, 0.05, maxed out at a 10th of a unit, 0.10. I take these things very, very seriously. And do the math on that means it's a very small amount of your bankroll. And if your bankroll is not big enough, then you shouldn't be betting this at all unless you find somebody to take it for $1. If you're going to do it for $1, you do it $1 holler. All right, let's get into it. We walked through a bit of it already. So the top 2 we did already. We've got Anthony Rizzo. We mentioned that he is going to yoke Dakota Hudson on a first inning sinker. You heard it here first. Then we've got Eloy Jimenez. Otto is going to hang one of those fastballs to Eloy. He's going to put that 30% barrel rate to use. He's going yard in the first. And then the last one, Kyle Schwarber. So this one rang on the home run model, but not on the rest of it. Josiah Gray's really been picking up, but I don't see how he doesn't give up a home run to Kyle Schwarber. I just couldn't find a universe where that didn't happen. Josiah Gray getting killed by lefties on the year. 952 OPS. They've hit 15 home runs against him. It's the fastball, hyper usage. Again, a lot of the same things we're looking for. Model ringing on the 45 use, 600 X-Lug, 9 home runs on the fastball alone. So it's Schwarber against right-handed fastballs year to date. 77 contact, 26 barrel, 22% blast. Remember, blast rate is the ideal subset of barrels. If a barrel is a ray, right, a big piece of a pie, the blast is a narrowed section of it. Think of it as, let's see, I'm a fat guy, I like food analogies. Think of it as like a sandwich, right? So you get a sandwich and it's not from a great spot. The ends are empty. So what do? You whack them off, right? So a barrel used to be a sandwich from a good hero shop. This is the most Brooklyn analogy ever. I hope this one makes it to the sample. All right, so check it out. I can't I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm such a ridiculous person. And if you appreciate it, hit the like button, man. I'm telling you, we're going to miss this show when it's gone. Okay, so it's like a sandwich. A barrel used to be a sandwich from a great hero shop where you got prosciutto, the fresher mutts, all the way to the very end, where you're on the nub and there's meat and cheese in there. When they close, because he made a ton of money, new ownership comes in, you got a fugazi and the ends are empty. The bread meat, even if it's okay, is empty. You don't want it. That's your blast. Boom. You got to whack it off. When they change the ball, they change the ownership. Boom. We had to whack the hero from a full-size hero. We had to get it down where we just get the real meat and cheese, all that delicious stuff that's falling in the middle. So there you go. Now, if you're not hungry for a little prosciutto, gabagola, and all that delicious stuff that we eat over here, which, man, if I ever leave Brooklyn, that's probably what I'll miss the most. Or the hero shops here, the real Brooklyn stuff right there. And if you ever come see me, anybody, we go catch a Cyclones game. I take you to Totono's. We go over to Johnny's Deli. We'll have a good time. So give me Anthony Rizzo plus 425, Eloy Jimenez plus 340, Kyle Schwarber plus 215. Couple ways to attack this. Again, I would probably be looking for a .05 .03 round robin or a .10 parlay, .05 parlay, I'm sorry, and let it run. So when these boys get it done for us, let me know. Holla if you hear me and you're digging the home run tracker parlay. I was already doing it, so now we'll just print it out. Remember, all things to all people that will do it for the show and the week. Man, I wake up sometimes on Saturday and I want to let the show rip. I miss you. I love doing the work. This is a true and absolute passion of mine, and I feel like that it's kind of been reflected in the viewership and that interaction that I'm constantly begging for, which is funny, man. Well, ain't too proud to beg. So one more time, rate, review, and subscribe to the pod. Please, please press the like button. Like on your way to close the video, press the stupid like button. It matters so much. Like I don't want your money. There's people out there, give me $1, give me $5, send me this, pay me this, da-da-da-da-da. I just want a cartoon finger. I don't even cost a thing. All right, that'll do it. Download the Jock Market app. Keep an eye on those Rockies. I believe they'll be very cheap today. That's where our source of profit, I think, will be. Then check me out on Twitter, MLB Moving AVG, and Patreon and all that good stuff. Mayo Media Net, and tag Patty Mayo. Let him know how much we love the boy. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games when we're done with the book. Enjoy your pay, everybody. And remember, when you work this hard, it feels a lot less like luck, don't it? You're damn right it does.